Who's that dorky looking guy? Little does he know that after an hour and 20 minutes of recording, he's going to realize that his microphone was not enabled correctly. It was turned on, but the correct recording device was not selected. And like a doofus, he didn't double check. And now he will regret his decision an hour and 20 minutes later. But I am determined. I'm determined to get through this game. It is an entertaining game indeed. So, right now, we are trying to get to Andrew Ryan's office and dying a lot, if I remember correctly. I like that there's like a viewing device there that I mean, the view looks pretty good, but it's still, pay a quarter, get it, for the view. So we've got to look around, find. Of course, there's the mysterious Atlas. Whose motives we are unsure of. I kind of felt bad for killing this chick, because she looks like she's very approachable. But then she went crazy. Went crazy on us. Ain't that the way? Those fiery redheads that throw fiery fireballs. Just how it is. Yep. So a lot of this game.
All your faces are melted.
We discovered some of the components we need are from Big Daddy's. And right now we're not in position to take on any because we just don't have the firepower. Or not the firepower, the health. We're at 0 health. We don't have any more med kits. The cogs of industry. Oh, it's turning. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, I was conflicted because we're supposed to kill Andrew Ryan, but I feel like as much of how he can be kind of self-righteous, and I don't like that, he feels like he genuinely believes in free will and you being capable of anything and you being in at the helm of your own life. So that alone, he's kind of a messed up guy, but I mean everybody's a little messed up, and he's definitely not the most messed up person in Rapture, but like I think the splicer situation just kind of drove it over the edge, but I think the concept of Rapture was very interesting.
Welcome to the Circus of Values.
The Circus of Values.
Back when you get some money, buddy.
We do. We have. This is the first episode where I can think of where we actually have money, which is crazy. So this episode is the first episode where we have a little bit of coin, so we're actually able to get a lot of stuff done. We're able to upgrade a lot of weapons. It's episode is very productive. Get a lot done, including I think we'll have one more episode after this episode because we, I won't spoil it, but we do meet Andrew Ryan this episode. I won't tell you anything about our conversation, but it's interesting.
I didn't recognize the twist that come into the shop today. Stacked like Sally and dressed to the nines. She's played her cards pretty close to the vest, but you ain't gotta be no college job to see she's into some bad China. She was asking about magnetic locks and some such. I played it coy, but she took wise. After she showed me round her backyard, I gave her directions to Keyboard's tool shop. Rapture's gone to hell, but sometimes the great chain still cuts you a break.
Like a little tit for tat there. I like when the Big Daddy like walks around, like all the ground shakes. So we're trying to follow the arrow and being stupid, including stepping into very electrically charged water. I wonder how long it took to build Rapture. I feel like it would have taken a while. Okay, now we're trying to... Now we have some more med kits under our belt. We're gonna try to take on a Big Daddy and try to get all the little sisters squared away for this level. I still have a feeling we're gonna get the mediocre ending because we didn't save enough little sisters. You'd be like, yeah, you saved a few, but terrible things happen to a bunch of them, and it's all your fault. And just, you know, you just like basically were mediocre, and you didn't really help a whole lot. I think that's going to be our ending. I feel like, do I smile? It's kind of interesting to watch myself play this game. Oh, this thing, the electrical gel, this whole game. Look how it just arrests the Big Daddy. It just sort of like freezes him in place and sort of just shocks him. If we had just stocked up on electrical gel, we could have gotten through so many battles. And you notice as soon as I run out, and even though it's almost dead, I get my buns handed to me, you know, with a hamburger and cheese and the tomato and onions and lettuce on top. It just, you know, so the electrical gel was kind of the secret sauce that kind of you use against the Big Daddies to prevail. Little sisters are so mean-spirited.
Mama's here to hold you.
Pretty epic. I like how he like almost does a somersault towards us. Sort of like rolls.
No! 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 You saved me.
I've turned away from your light.
You saved.
Time for bed, Mr.
Alright, so we're looking for the workshops. In the workshops, there's a bomb that we find. So this whole time, Atlas, it's either Atlas recruited him or some lone, like, nut job was creating a bomb to take out the core of the city.
We have turned away from your light.
I would say this is one of the few streams where I was really frustrated when it didn't record, because I feel like I'm either oversaturated or I'm washed out you know, I look like I just like really pasty because of the lighting, because I don't really have a lighting setup. You know, it's something to think about for the future, you know, depending on how the channel goes. But this has the natural lighting today was great. So I actually don't have, every time I play this game, you know, it's late at night, I have some different lighting effects, but I don't really have a light kind of rig setup. And it just sort of like, how do you say,
I'm sorry, Father. I'll do what you say. I'll do what you say.
you know, this was one of the I was really pleased with the outcome of the lighting in this video. Just the natural light just really, you know, I think made me approachable, not like really washed out or really saturated.
I'm sorry, Father.
Ah, it's Australia.
I'll do what you
Australia Day. Guess there's some Australians that work. Some Australians. If you get a chance, and, you know, put a shrimp on the bobby and see my video with my Australian accent. It's outrageous. I did a short where I did an Australian accent recently. There's 2 turn cuts here. I tried to act, but I just get straight up murdered here, I think, right after I act this one. I eventually get them hacked, though. I noticed throughout the whole game, they're quoting scripture all the time. And as a Christian, you know, I find it really interesting. It feels like they read the Bible and developed a God complex. So they, instead of reading the Bible and getting out of it that God's a perfect being and that humans are flawed, they got out of it like that they're, you know, are trying to be God. So they're saying like God-like things in relation to themselves, and that they're trying, and being in that place of judgment, they feel that they can
forsaken me.
like murder and whatever, but then they have these moments of like, you know,
We thought we could hide from the light down here.
just like
We were wrong.
feelings of like repentance or guilt. And you know, like if you read the Bible, you realize that, you know, I mean, it's good to feel guilty when you do bad things, but you shouldn't live your life in guilt. You know, you know you're going to do bad things no matter what you do, because that's like half of our life, or more than half of our life, is doing bad things, like making mistakes. You know, like we're constantly learning, making mistakes, learning, you know. If you read the, you know, if you look at the 10 Commandments and the laws and everything, you know, it's very easy to figure out like a million things you did wrong in a day, and it's kind of, you know, I think they got some Bibles smuggled down there, and it didn't do them very much good. I don't think they applied it correctly. This office scene is crazy. Like, this chick hold herself up in her office, and she put like a million traps. So I just get frustrated with trying to be all like, you know, sneaky, and just trying to like kind of like cloak and dagger my way through it, and I just like had a manpower through it, you know, with my chest hair, and just get killed. I just am like, screw it, I'll just jump over the, I think I just try to, yeah. And I definitely, I'm a little bit of Neanderthal, as they would say. I'm a big, heavy, hairy guy. So, we're looking for. You see that like pulsating ring that's in the back. If you look over there, that's a component for the bomb that we make to kind of take out the city core. And yeah, I don't really realize that until we're way late in the game, and then it takes me forever to find how to get to it. I keep going to the office, coming back, going to the office.
There's blood in the streets, of course. Have some chosen to destroy themselves with careless splicing on the Nile.
But I will make no proclamations. I will dictate no laws. The great chain moves slowly, but with wisdom. It is our impatience that invites in the parasite of big government. And once you've invited it in, it will never stop feeding on the body of the city.
See, like, I mean, Andrew Ryan, definitely, like, not a good guy. Like, did some crappy things. Maybe killed some people. I think it's implied, but he's not, like, mass murder. I don't know. I don't know if he killed someone or not, but, like, indirectly. I think he killed a lot of people with the plasmids, allowing the plasmids to take hold in the city. But, like, it's hard to hate on his, like, wanting you to, his cavalier attitude towards freedom. But I think, like, if you would have applied just a bit more of a, you know, common sense and even maybe a little common sense moral steering, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely, like, I think, like, even if they did something like limit plasmid use, so you have free will to use plasmids, but if you, like, abuse them, then, you know, or if you go crazy, or once they observe that the plasmids are driving people crazy, they kind of, you know, not promote them, but, like, you know, just for common sense safety, outlaw some of the plasmids, or at least wait till they developed a way to control them, and, you know, it just, like make them so they weren't dangerous. So, like, I like his attitude towards, you know, just personal responsibility and freedom. I think that's, you know, pretty valuable. How do you call, like, a valuable part to thing to acknowledge in life. We're always just...
Casing is ready. I've got one charge of nitroglycerin in my office. That will serve as the catalyst.
We're always, like, on the verge of, like...
Now, I need 4 R34 lead shield wire stubs to pass the circuit. Then a half can of ionic gel. That's the pretty Betty of the mix. Should send the core into compensation mode, push power down the line and trigger the circuit breaker on Ryan's gate. Well, that's the theory. It'll either work like a charm, or blow up half of Rapture. Nothing ventured.
We're always on the verge of running out of our first aid kits. And it just is, like, a constant stress in the game that we don't have the med kits available. So, like, we'll just get trashed and then have to just get trashed again. And just is like a never-ending cycle. Although everybody talks about a great chain, so a great chain implies that there's some kind of system, and that free will might not abound, so that feels contradictory to Andrew Ryan's very radical stance on free will. Like, I admire it, but I feel like, you know, a society of that with that much free will would result in anarchy, which ends up happening in Rapture. I think, you know, anarchy plus just some different factors where, you know, there were like the plastic surgeon person, there were absolutely no constraints on surgeries he could perform, so he ended up going and using, like, plasmids to, like, Picasso style, just carve up people, and I don't know, he just went insane. I forget what I'm looking for here.
Of course, have some chosen to destroy themselves with careless splicing, undeniable. But I will make no proclamations. I will dictate no laws. The great chain moves slowly, but with wisdom. It is our impatience that invites in the parasite of big government. And once you've invited it in, it will never stop feeding on the body of the city.
I think there's like lack of self-control, which is something that's really hard to do. Also destroy the city, you know, and I can't. Self-control is not my strong suit, but like it definitely I don't think helped the maintenance of the city. People just did everything in excess, and it just kind of. With the plasmids, like maybe if they modified a few things, but they just went completely insane with it. So we found out that some of the components that we're supposed to get are from Big Daddies. So that adds another layer of just kind of anger, frustration, because, you know, it's not easy to kill a Big Daddy. We're always fighting for med kits, and our ammo is but it's not the best. But at least we have money in this episode, so we're able to buy money when it's needed, and then, you know, improvise. There's a lot of explosive canisters around, so when I think of it, I try to improvise and toss some flammable, flammable things at them.
Heard that.
Your river!
But our health is terrible in this game. Like, I don't know where I could upgrade my health, but I start really regretting it here because I could start to suffer because the Big Daddy's taken out with one hit. Splicers almost do. It takes many hits to kill them at this point, and it just sort of starts to become like just a die and resurrect game where I'm just being killed and resurrecting every 10 seconds.
War is for you, Father. Isn't you like? I'm sorry, Father. I'll do what you say. I'll do what you say. Even miles underwater, still sees everything.
Yeah, I need to smile more. I think if I get involved in the game, I think I look a little dour, and I don't think that's good for, you know, just because that's not necessarily how I feel, but it's more like I'm concentrating, and I think about different things going on, like all the different goals I have to do, and then I look kind of, you know, maybe a little dour. It does get a little frustrating after a while, just getting killed by these Big Daddies, just repeatedly over and over again.
I observe all his commandments. Observe all his commandments. I pray
See, they talk about observing all the commandments. I think that's good. I think that's the goal. I think that's what you should try to do. But to sort of, you know, I mean, if you look at the 10 Commandments in the Bible, they're all very common sense things that everyone would agree with. But like, it would be literally impossible to obey them all the time. I think if you hold yourself up to perfection and you think you're going to be perfect, you don't realize that you're just like just kind of a messed up, flawed human being like everybody else. Then you're just going to go crazy. You're going to like lose your marbles. They keep on saying things like, I observed your 10 commandments, and I think that's good, but I think, you know, it just is, you know, I think like the Judeo-Christian perspective is that you should try to, but you're gonna fail a lot, and maybe more than not, and that's kind of a sobering thing to think about, is that, you know, they say, like, as a dog, in the Bible it says a dog returns to its own vomit, the sinner returns to its sin, and, like, I've definitely felt that a lot, because, like, definitely, it's a lot harder to do the right thing, and it's super easy to do the wrong thing. I like just the atmosphere of everything. It's such a creative game, like the tech design, it's the color palette, the weapon design, then the kind of, you could just tell that, at least the first BioShock, they just really, I think all the ones through the series. See, even with the crossbow, which is like the Rambo style one-hit kill, how do you say, takes like at least like 3 shots to do someone in, where when you first got it, it just took 1 shot. You just pretty cut and dry. That's super sneaky. I like that they like pretend to be dead. So I think just in general, like, even if you're not a Christian, but the idea of, like, at least the idea of pursuing perfection, but knowing you'll never be perfect, is like a great way to go through life, because then you can forgive yourself for not being perfect, but you are striving to have the best life possible. Yeah, because Big Daddy's just, like, every time, just murderous. And it's not even a fighting chance. Like, that's the thing that kind of through this playthrough, and I noticed progressively when going through the game, I don't think I ever upgraded my health. And I think that made us suffer at the, like, at the end, where we just, like, how do you say, we have no health. You guys are just watching me just get creamed, like, every time. And just sort of, it just gets, you tell by my eyes, like, I mean, a lot of it, I think if I just look concentrated, I'm kind of dour, but, like, definitely there are times where I'm like, this is gonna take forever, because I'm just dying like crazy. I have a cool explosion. Yep, this weekend I wanted to try to get catch up with videos as best as I could. So I was like, dang it, because I recorded an hour and 20 minutes and it ended up not recording my voice.
His light shineth even down here in the murk.
Alright, so we start to build this thing. If they build it, we will come. Or if they build it, they will come. The Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah, I know there's that new Spielberg movie about aliens that's coming out, where they, like, disclosure, where the idea is that mankind is enlightened by the knowledge, like, as a human race, we're enlightened by the knowledge that aliens have come to how do you say, like, enlighten us or whatever, or destroy us, or however it goes. I don't know. We make contact, and everybody knows. So the government discloses the aliens, and I feel like maybe because I'm kind of a loner a little bit, but like I constantly see like these articles that like the government and these interviews, you watch almost videos of interviews, and with AI it's hard to tell what's an interview, what's real, what's not. But you know, these government officials are always like, yeah, like we actually have met aliens, or we have like tons of, and they released some, I do think they released some UFO files recently, but like I feel like that'd be intriguing. But yeah, I'm getting off track here. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to see a really interesting alien movie by Steven Spielberg, you should watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And that's pretty interesting, of where aliens almost like select people and give them visions about where they're gonna make first contact. And it's kind of a cool movie, and I'm guessing the color palette is a little bit more interesting than modern movies, and they have more of a great color palette. It's got a very 80s kind of feel to it, but the 80s had just very vibrant color palettes, and they had very just, were more entertaining in my opinion. But in the movie, everybody's making these shapes, and you don't know what the shape is, but it's actually Devil's Rock. I forget which state it's in, but I've been there. I've been there on a road trip with my family when I was a kid, and that's where the contact is made. It's like a very interesting movie. Some guy makes like Devil's Rock out of mashed potatoes, and in the movie, and he's like, "This has significance. What? This means something." And they just like, yeah, they figure out its location for like first alien contact or something. So this whole time, like a doofus, there's all these signs. Oh, I decided to blow this up, I think. Oh no, maybe later.
She's one of Ryan's spies, sent to fill me out. I think she is. If I'm wrong.
Dude, somebody is like, the splicers are so loud, and somebody just like Assassin's Creed like double tapped me there, like just like shanked me in the back, like very quietly. That was like one of the creepiest kills that I've had in this game. It just was. It's pretty crazy. Yep. So I'm just kind of wandering around. It takes me a while to realize that the last component is in that guy's office, the guy whose name starts with a K, the Krabowski or whatever his name is. And just being kind of grumpy because I can't figure it out. I forget this. I used this vending machine and I forgot that a few episodes ago it was rigged to blow us up. But I think it's hilarious in that kind of like ironic way that even at the central core, it's just like a vending machine. And I mean, I don't know, it's just and a viewfinder or whatever they call those, where you have to pay a quarter to look through. Pretty comedic. When people complain about there being too many commercials, I agree with them. I think there's so many commercials nowadays. I just turn them off when I hear a commercial. Like I have Spotify, and I love listening to music on there, but sometimes they'll have like 4 or 5 commercials in a row. It'll be like maybe 3 or 4 minutes before you even get to your song, but I just turn it off and then listen to the song afterward. I think I just gave up at this point with the I'm being attacked here, and I'm just like, eh. I keep on trying to, yeah, I see this thing cross the way and I forget that I have a telekinesis.
I wore it for you, Father. It's what you like. I observe all his commandments. Fulfill his commandments.
Got our smokes, got the, I think we carry this around. We never find anyone, and we're just like wandering around with this really highly explosive thing ready to go off. Like, flammable. Pressed oxygen or whatever. Days you just can't get rid of a bomb. It's like trying to figure out what to do with it. Yeah, we have lots of money, so we actually go through and we like add a bunch, modify a bunch of our weapons. I think as soon as we're heading towards the end of the game that we're starting to actually have money and actually have all these opportunities to just modify our weapons and different things. I think we buy a few things and we add some different modifications. There's alcohol. Adds Eve. Hacking something gain health in Eve. That's some pretty cool stuff. Like this game, the weight, the amount of things you're able, unless you're very thorough, and you can still never get through everything. So you have to make your choices count. But there's so many like ways to mod your weapons and your plasmid. You know, it makes it very competitive and very interesting as a shooter. I think the authenticity in this game and the amount of work put into it and thoughtfulness, you know, really set it apart competitively. And I think that, you know, if you have one game that you really value and you put a lot of time and energy and effort into it and kind of make it really, really nice, and you do it not just for the money, but you do it because you want to do it, and then, you know, you also try to be competitive with it, you know, it almost, you know, just becomes naturally competitive and can outcompete competition. So I keep on not realizing about that final component. It's in whatchamacall, the office of the one guy. But yep, we're just kind of wandering around at this point, being like, what did I miss? I thought we upgraded everything. And there's all these signs that say the office of whatever. We'd been in there and we had seen nothing, so you know, it just didn't seem worth it. Yep, there's another sign. There's the office. We go back in it again and we follow the arrow there. It says to keep going back there, and you know, it's still, we still don't get it. And it, in my defense, like, the the thing that we're supposed to do to find the item is very obtuse. So the item we're supposed to get is in that vent. But I'm like, I searched everywhere, and then there's like some pulsating thing in a vent, but I'm not sure that's an item or just part of the overall like building. And it takes a while to try to discover. We check the like everywhere. Yeah, there it is in the left-hand side. It's like a circle of like pulsating lights. And that's the final component. And we're, you know, I can get into the vent. And then, lo and behold, it's some like random button on the side of the desk. And I don't know if we discover it now or it takes a while. And we got money in this game. We do grenades don't damage ourselves. I think that's a brilliant upgrade. We keep wandering around.
The light down here. We were wrong. Heretic! Thief!
To help there right off the bat. If we hadn't upgraded, we would be like when he ran out at us and we shot him point blank with a grenade launcher, it would logically damage us too. But you know, thankfully Bioshock's not a realm of logic. But the very kind of cartoonish game in a lot of ways, and so we can die like, and we can actually like fire grenade launchers with the damage. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to do that for a while, but I was waiting for there to be something there. It was very satisfying. There were so many like compressed air tanks in that room.
We were wrong. Sorry?
I want to think that every time I do, they hear it.
I wore it for you, Father. It's what you like.
And there's something about believing in a divine being that, you know, if you pick, you know, just that religious thought in general, where if you believe in a divine being that watches over you and everyone who interacts with you, you know, there's this modern sensibility, and I can understand it that, you know, of surveillance, that we live in a time of surveillance, and I think that's true, and that's been that way throughout all history. But the idea of the watching the watchers is kind of the idea of the divine being that watches people that watch you, and that kind of adds a security level to people that society might disadvantage
Come back when you get some money,
through
buddy.
surveillance, or just surveillance in general. Just know that. But you can tell, like, the splicers are talking about being watched and paranoia, and it does feel like, although another thing about Andrew Ryan's Free Society, and I think they had to do this because it was falling apart, they started putting security bots everywhere, and that really limits freedom because the people are being constantly surveilled, and that just really, you know, suffocates freedom. But, you know, they had to use security because people were going crazy and just, you know, destroying the city.
You said, I know what you're up to.
Are there any Australians that watch my channel? From Australia? Land down under? You guys have like live in the most dangerous place in the world. There's so many things there that kill you in Australia. It's crazy. You guys got crocodiles, sharks. You guys got giant spiders, and you have birds that can kick you in the face and kill you, and all kinds of stuff. Was it like a emu, or what's it called? Some kind of bird. Yeah, I go back again. Because the arrow keeps leading me back, and I'm like, man, what am I doing? So I'm just throwing all the traps, so I make sure I look everywhere and I don't miss something. Looking on everything. Yep, I noticed the thing again, but I'm like, well, I can't get to it, so but it's gotta be it. There's nothing else around. I thought it was part of the event before, but I guess it's like the item that we're looking for. So I double checked all the cabinets. Oh, I guess I don't even... Insane. It is kind of good to rewatch this and sort of learn from my mistakes in regard to, like, not being observant. So, like, I feel like... Yeah, these... Blazers... Insane, like, it takes a lot more to kill them. But I mean, kind of learning from my mistakes and saying, like, you know, just keep looking where the arrow takes you. So if the arrow takes you to whatever location, just to stay in that location till you find out what it's trying to tell you. Because I was like, well, maybe the game's broken because I can't find this final thing. I'm like, well, Journal says it keeps it in his office. I've been to the office many times trying to figure it out, and I just couldn't figure it out. Yep, I shoot that so it doesn't accidentally blow up on me later. I go back in. I'm like, what in the world am I missing? There's a button on the side of the desk right there. For some reason, all the times I looked, I never noticed it. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of, understandable that, you know, you weren't able to see it so much. Yeah, look. I'm like, wait a minute. There's some tiny red button. Yeah, there we go. Intriguing switch. And I'm like, oh my god. And I don't know where that turret came from. The turret just like appeared out of nowhere, materialized, but dropped it down from the ceiling. Connected the plates. Mario style.
little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong.
His
Father,
light shineth even
why
down
have you
here in the
forsaken me?
murk.
Jesus loves me, this I know.
We finally ripped our EMP bomb.
Down here in the murk.
Does it look like it's a real bomb? It better. You got to put it on the core, past geothermal control. And we'll see if these needle noses knew what the hell they were talking about.
Guys can do some pretty impressive somersaults. I wonder, like, we've been abusing splicing this whole game, but, like, we're not insane, and I don't know why. Because it seems like plasmids have an effect of driving people insane, and, like, somehow we're in control of our faculties. La-da-dee. Da-da-da. I noticed there's a clamp, and I'm like, the details, and just as, like, when's the last time that you used the clamp? And I'm like, I don't own a clamp, and I was like, that's kind of handy thing. I don't know, the attention to detail in this game is pretty cool. I think there's a guy in Futurama who has clamps that's a robot, and they call him clamps. I like how, like, the guy's on fire, I've shot him like 10 times, he's still okay. I start to realize, like, that we're getting towards the end of the game and my health is gone in like 10 seconds, and everybody else is like infinite health. How these splicers should be in the Olympics, but I have a feeling they wouldn't pass the drug. But the idea of plasmids is very interesting. But I think if they kept it simple, like basic healthy things, like maybe to help lose weight or to help gain muscle, you know, as long as you're not eating for like the Olympics, but like plasmids is like some kind of legal steroid, or you know, like just different. But they just went crazy with it, and they're like, oh, we need to shoot fire from your hands, and all kinds of crazy crap.
Head on in. I'll see what I can dig up to help. I'm no engineer, but if I read these plans right, you can channel that magma flow using the redirect valve. It'll boil off that water right quick, and you'll be able to reach the core. But Ryan's sure to take notice. Might want to set up a perimeter just to be certain.
This takes a while. Spin the wheel.
Creatures kill you? Even I don't know. As
And
you drag
it takes
me
quite a few
closer to the
spins.
abyss, you pull yourself right along with me. I offer you a quick death, perhaps. It would be preferable to what you will learn if you win.
Come on, then. Fight me properly.
So like he's having these people attack us. But, you know, I think that's for his self-defense. I think that's because he wants to kill us. Yeah, look how many times you have to spin the wheel. Takes forever. Spinning the wheel. Spinning the wheel. They keep on saying the power of Christ compels you, and I just think of, like, The Exorcist every time. Alright, so we finally get the magma to drain.
Are they all dead? Hope so. Best be heading on to the core.
This time I don't confuse a beta chamber for a elevator. I realize it's an elevator, not a beta chamber. We follow past the great steel containers, the source of power. Yes, the big containers. The lava flow.
Away from your family, from your friends, from everything you ever loved. But for some reason, you like it here. You feel something you can't quite put your finger on.
The giant
Think
brass
about it
spears.
for a second, and maybe the word will come to you. Nostalgia.
The very volatile whatever this is.
Let us offer you a piece of my plundered city. Mark my words, your only reward will be a knife in the back.
He seems to be making some implications about Atlas. And I almost immediately regret doing that, because it just looks like the whole place is going to come down and take me with it. I mean, I'm kind of excited about seeing Andrew Ryan, but at this point I'm a little bit worn down for my own fault of not being able to figure things out as quickly in regards to, how do you say, like find the components for the bomb that breaks the circuit breaker. Like, I think he's an atheist, but I feel like he has some very interesting ideas, like the idea of the self-made man, kind of. And I think there's some components to that. I don't think anyone is really, truly a self-made man personally. I think there's a lot of people that help you along the way and stuff, but there is kind of a work ethos to his philosophy that I it's hard to like not appreciate. So I'm running out of weapons and stuff, so I just commandeered this Big Daddy to help me out. And go drill some of my enemies. But yeah, I think he takes it to an extreme, but it's hard to like hate on someone that, you know, it went wrong, but I think his you know, there's a lot of philosophy that makes sense and would work in the proper context. Yep, this scene, like, I like this game. I like playing this game. At this point, I'm just like wanting to get to Andrew Ryan's office and figure out what's going on. And I think part of it is because the fights, I get taken out so easily in this game. It gets frustrating. Like, I'm just like in a Vita chamber every 10 seconds. So at this point, I'm not even engaging. I'm just trying to open the door and get out of the room.
In the end, all that matters to me is me. And all that matters to you is you. It is the nature of things.
So, I mean, his ideology is very selfish. So that's the part that I don't like about it, but it is kind of like be yourself, kind of be an individual, and like that's really hard to like hate on someone that's like might not agree with you but lets you be an individual. And I think that's like a component of society, you know, is that idea of like you might differ on different ways to run society, but I think acknowledging that people are individuals and, you know, what works for the goose doesn't always work for the gander. You know, but letting each other preserve your opinions can help, you know, to a degree. I think, you know, anything that's can, you know, you have to kind of mix being an individual with like some common values.
Even
They're different things.
lies, sometimes you find truth. There is indeed a season for all things. And now that I see you, flesh to flesh and blood to blood, I know I cannot raise my hand against you. But know this, you are my greatest disappointment. Does your master hear me? Atlas, you can kill me, but you will never have my city. My strength is not in steel and fire. That is what the parasites will never understand. A season for all things. A time to live and a time to die. A time to build and a time to destroy!
Yeah, I think
Now,
he's...
my child, there is one final thing to discuss.
He just called his child there.
Ryan set the core to self-destruct. This is different than what you did. He's got a mind to take down the whole damn city. Get in there and whack the chunk before the whole joint blows.
So I think he's alluding that we might be his child, because earlier in the game they kind of imply that Jazz, or I think her name is Jasmine Jolene or something, is the showgirl that works in Fort Frolic, and that she might have sired us as their, you know, sired her, you know, and Andrew Ryan did the deed and we're the result of that, is my understanding. It seems to really hint at. So I think that he has a soft spot for us because we're his child. So I think that he allows us some leeway because he's very much a free will guy, but he's not very merciful, and I think he can go hard one way or the other, but you know, like kind of a balance. Trying to figure out how to get into his office. Eventually find this ventilation system. And this gets kind of where it comes together, and we start making some major connections about who we are in relationship to Andrew Ryan, and because there's definitely something going on.
Did you talk to your puppy? She's very pretty.
Thank you, Papa Susha.
Break her neck for me. What? Break that sweet puppy's neck. No, please. Break that puppy's neck. Would you kindly? No.
Yep, that's the trigger word. So the scientists developed a way to bypass free will by using a trigger word that causes a chemical reaction in the brain to make you resist free will and do whatever the person who says the word wants you to do. But yeah, like it looks like Andrew Ryan definitely like took every pill in the book. He took the blue pill and the red pill and the all the pills, and he just like that's one of the craziest conspiracy boards I've seen in a while. With just like all the different notes where we start to make the connections of somehow Fontaine and the scientists and Atlas and Jasmine Jolene are all connected in some way.
Weighs 58 pounds and possesses gross musculature of a fit 19-year-old. The results are disappointing, but within expected tolerances.
So it sounds like we were like a lab baby that was engineered to like basically become an adult and for whatever purposes. Like it sounds like Andrew Ryan, that Jasmine Jolene sold her embryo from Andrew Ryan's union with us to Fontaine, and Fontaine used the scientists to engineer us into this kind of use plasmids or whatever to make us into this kind of strong character.
The assassin has overcome my final defense, and now he's come to murder me. In the end, what separates a man from a slave? Money? Power? No. A man chooses. A slave obeys. You think you have memories. A farm. A family. An airplane. A crash. And then this place. Was there really a family? Did that airplane crash? Or was it hijacked? Forced down. Forced down by something less than a man, something bred to sleepwalk through life until they are activated by a simple phrase spoken by their kindly master. Was a man sent to kill or a slave? A man chooses. A slave obeys. Come in.
Yep, so kind of revealing there at the end that we're kind of a mind control.
Stop. Would you kindly? Would you kindly? Powerful phrase. Familiar phrase?
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find it?
I was like Atlas the whole game.
Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly? Stand, would you kindly? Run! Stop! Turn.
Notice he's not having us kill
A
ourselves.
man chooses. A slave obeys.
He hands us his glove. I think he was hoping that we would use our free will and resist killing him because of the parent bond of the father and son. I think it would be interesting.
Obey!
So, like, he wasn't really the best guy ever, but I think he was a man of principle and that he was committed to his ideology, and that I think he had a fierce belief in free will and freedom in general. And I think that it is a noble virtue. I think it was kind of, I think that with all the different things going on, it was, it got perverted, was wrongly applied, but I think the idea, the concept in itself was really good. So it made me really hard for me to really hate him too much. And, I think we let him down. Like, he was really hoping that we would be able to, by sheer force of our individualistic free will, we would rise above doing what we were told and being our own man, I guess, and not doing something wrong like killing him.
Nice work by all.
Of course, we discover something about Atlas, which you probably figured out by now.
It's time to end this little masquerade. There ain't no Atlas kid. Never was. Selling my line of work takes on a variety of aliases. Hell, once I was even a Chinaman for 6 months. But you've been a sport, so I guess I owe you a little honesty. The name's Frank Fonte. I gotta say, I had a lot of business partners in my life, but you, of course, the fact that you were genetically conditioned to bark like a cocker spaniel when I said, would you kindly, might have had something to do with it, but still, as soon as that machine finishes processing the genetic key you just fished off Ryan, I'm gonna run Rapture tits to toes. You've been a pal. You know what they say. Never mix business with friendship. Thanks for everything, kid. Don't forget to say hi to Ryan for me.
So yeah, the big betrayal. Atlas and Fontaine are the same. And this is where helping all the little sisters pays off. Not that, and technically I should save them just to do the right thing, but this is kind of nice that it pays off in the end and saves our lives. Oh, that seemed kind of douchey if she did that on purpose. Watch out for that pit. Leaks, lunatics, rebellion, and now bleeding ghosts ain't life in Rapture grand. Bill McDonough. Now our Tenenbaum safe pouch. She's the scientist.
Welcome to the city where you were born. You are angry at Fontaine, yes? Now you know the truth. You are his tool, brought back to Rapture to save him. You have saved many of my little ones. I owe you a debt.
You said many, so I'm assuming we missed some.
Sleep. I undo some of Fontaine's
Probably won't give us the good ending.
His control is no longer complete, but he can still pull some very unpleasant strings. Free made your mind with many locks and keys. Fontaine has most of those keys, but not all. Suchong designed your mind, taught Fontaine to control you. You might find answers in Suchong's flat in Mercury Suites.
Yep, so saving all the little sisters from the toxins and whatever, you know, kind of gave them a second chance at
He's
life.
the one who saved me.
Now they all become artists and be broke. Although I have to say they, you know, they're pretty good, pretty decent artwork.
Come with me. Mama Tenenbaum said he'll help us.
So we have unfinished business. We have unfinished business with Frank Fontaine. There's Hopscotch, the classic game that's been
There
around
he
for
is.
hundreds of years.
He's here to help us.
Wait a minute, I can't go through that door. Alright, this is kind of close to where I end the stream. Basically, Ian Fontaine,
You've got hooked up with
Frank
Tenenbaum,
Fontaine
huh,
face
kid?
down.
She's a regular mother goose. Alright, fun's fun, kid. But now, go get stepped on by a big daddy. Would you kindly? Huh? I says, would you kindly go get stepped on by a big daddy?
Who's your English teacher, Frank?
Ah, seems like Mother Goose has been playing around in your egg salad. If you won't dance to that tune, I got others. Code Yellow.
Okay, this is where things start to get real.
I just told your brain to tell your heart to stop beating. Not right off the bat, mind you. The heart's a stubborn muscle, but it ain't that stubborn.
This is where I start to realize that he basically is making it so that I run out of health. And that it lowers my overall health, which already, as you can see through this game, I've been getting my butt kicked. But now my overall health will be draining, and the health bar is also going to be lower.
Have your revenge, and we can keep my little ones out of his filthy hands.
So, you know, it just is like, how am I gonna get through the rest of this game? I'm gonna be killed every 3 seconds. Because, you know, it's already one-hit kills with Big Daddies and, you know, pretty quickly dispatched by ordinary splicers. This time, let's see you for another adventure in BioShock. If you like this kind of playthrough, let me know in the comments, and I'll do more BioShock or first-person shooters. Hope everything going great, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. We'll see you then.